Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for coming to check me out. So I'm going to start out simple and tell you, hello, I am Lewis Porter Jr. and today we're talking about a very, very simple title that makes a lot of sense and it's easy to remember, which is better, Patreon or Kickstarter for building your RPG or comic dreams? So I'm a fan of both platforms. I have used both of them several times. I'm currently using Patreon for one of my platforms for my Amazing Universe products that I'm doing for Mutants and Masterminds. And I have used Kickstarter in the past to do, altogether I attempted 11 Kickstarters, only 6 were successful. So, I got over a 500% batting average, so I'm good with that. I can live with that. And the stuff that did get actually done, I'm pretty happy with. One of my biggest successes, and this is going to sound weird when I say this, is Obsidian Apocalypse. I did that in the middle of my wife dying of cancer. And I did that Kickstarter roughly about 2 years before she passed away, and I was able to get everything done for it, collected, and done roughly only like 6 months after she passed away. I know it sounds kind of weird to say that, but it was really one of those moments I was proud of me, even with everything going on, I was able to get that done because that was something I said I would do. So I always have kind of I'll put a chip on my shoulder when I hear about people saying, oh, I can't complete my Kickstarter. And I'm like, nah, you guys are soft. You weren't going to do that anyway. But I think Kickstarter is a great way to get people to support what you're doing. Usually, and I'm going to put this in context, because people are saying, which one? Well, they're both pretty good, so which one's the better one? I personally think they both feed off of each other in unusual ways. So I'll start with Patreon. I think Patreon is the best way to get regular, monthly, or whatever you release it, money from your fan base. You can go to them directly. It's a little more personal. You can build a relationship on them either monthly or whenever you release stuff, so it could be like, as much as weekly. I think you can get a lot of fans on Patreon over time. I think it's a place where you really grow fans slowly, but in the long run, the people that support you really support you. If you do it right, honestly, I don't think you have to have a Kickstarter. If you do it right on Patreon, a Kickstarter is not necessary, because you could be generating as much, if not more money through your Patreon than what you do for your Kickstarter. So I think there's more risk on Kickstarter, but the rewards on Kickstarter, if you hit it, are huge. Let's be real. There have been a lot of projects that have gone on Kickstarter done amazingly well, and it's been kind of surprising how well some of them have done. One of my favorite ones to talk about is John Wick's 7th Sea. It made $1 million, and if anyone had told me, oh yeah, 7th Sea, it's going to make $1 million in Kickstarter, I'd be like, you're a liar. There's no way in the world that's going to be. If you said Legend of the Five Rings, oh yeah, definitely. $1 million, not even question, that's a winner. But apparently 7th Sea is $1 million, which I'm still like, I still don't understand how it was even made. I'm not going to lie. It's surprising on every level for me that made that much money. But it did. So, give respect where respect is due. So, he did it. Got the money. Fans are loving it. And there's so many people doing it now. I think now, especially for, I'm going to say Dungeons & Dragons, 5th edition specifically, because I've seen so many D&D ones come out with people hitting these really high numbers. I'm talking over 100,000 easy. There's the Bard one. Let me see if I can look it up real quick since I'm at my computer. Because I'm always saving projects for later and things you might do and be like, oh, let me just see if I'm going to support this. Okay, so, only 2. It's weird. Only 2. Deep Magic spell cards. This is from our buddies over at Cobalt, Wolfgang Barr, Jeff Lee, all those guys. And I'll tell you right now, spell cards, spell decks, any kind of decks, a great add-on to any RPG. I didn't understand how good it was till my buddies over at Paradigm Concepts got me on that. They did the spell decks, and while it didn't totally work out as well as it could have worked out for them, the fan base alone for those, always huge. So if you're a publisher and you're looking to do a project first off from a new role-playing game or even like 5e or new edition, do spell decks if you can, or power decks, or whatever thing you can do with the decks that you can add to it. That will make you a ton of money. And now with drive-through cards, you can do them directly for them as a PDF version or print-on-demand version. So you kind of win both ways. I'm just saying, do cards. It is a guaranteed cash cow. A Boreoris. I think I'm saying it right, but I'm really not. A Boreoris. Whatever. You'll see it on there. It's come out. It's actually ending very soon. I think it's ending. It's ending in 34 hours. So I would definitely check it out. It's at $1.138 million. They asked for initially 50,000. I've been watching this one. Beautiful looking book. War Chief Gaming has done it. They've done lots of video games. They've got a big history on making games, so it wasn't even a question of, geez, I wonder if they're going to get money. Yeah, they're getting money. But they also made a great looking product. Even just looking at it now, it's like, yep, they did everything right. They did everything right. They did everything you're supposed to do right. They had tons of art available, even stuff they were doing, all kinds of stuff. And it's just like, yep, 100%. This is how you do it. And, giving credit where credit's due. I like it. It looks nice. They did a hardcover, which even still I'm like, I don't know about hardcovers anymore. But that's another situation. I think they've done everything right. I think they gave enough choices at different levels. They gave enough people interest in stuff. It's a good looking Kickstarter. And you're seeing more and more of that happen lately. More and more people are doing really phenomenal Kickstarters. And they're pushing it with good ideas. I mean, they're based off of good ideas. And then they add good stretch goals to stuff. Like, for example, this one has a starter adventure. Once they got to 100,000, that'll double what they got. They get a starter adventure. Well, that's not bad. You put a starter adventure. You always need one of those. Oh, dungeon maps. Okay. Expanded spell list. Okay. Lawbrand Group's Origins. I guess is one of their... A new section in our source book. Okay. STL Miniature Collection, Part 2. That, I think, is a brilliant idea. Giving out... If somebody can design that, that's a perfect thing to give away. It's like, here you go. Give it away. It's awesome. Expanded Bestiary. I say Bestiary. Mark Sworn Collector's Coin. I don't know about Collector's Coins. I don't think it's a good idea, but I get it. Writs and Bounties. A new set of short-term adventures and systems of writs obtaining special permissions while operating in the city. Okay. That's kind of cool. It sets in with the actual... excuse me. It sets in with the actual campaign setting, and it's a cool thing. I like that. I'm doing pins. I don't like pins. Don't do pins. That's just me. Premium race sheets. Okay. That's one of those cool ideas I like if you get a good designer to do a cool looking one. So, additional pieces of art. That sounds like a silly one that people always add in, but if you don't know how much art costs or what art takes to get done, oh yeah, always have a couple levels of additional art because art gets expensive quickly. And when you start doing a book like I'm sure this size, it only gets more expensive. They did some more bonus miniature packs. Building your own racing chariot. Dude, I don't even know what that's about, but that sounds cool. So I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. Digital premium character sheets. Looks like a PDF format. Digital soundtrack. Kind of surprised at that. It's kind of a good idea. It's like, yeah, why not do a soundtrack for your stuff? And this is also at $1 million. So we're talking, this is 20 times what they plan to make, which they're probably going to make anyway. But now, hey, we're going to do a digital soundtrack. We've got money for it. And I like what they did. A lot of their increments were $100,000. So it was like big jumps. It wasn't like little small jumps. Like, here, we're going to spend some real money on this. And I thought it was good. And at 1.25, they have more bonus miniatures. And then at 1.5, they have the next Ouroboros project. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of interested to see what that is. I don't know if they're going to get the other 300,000 in the next 34 hours. But it could happen. So if they do, I'm kind of interested. What can I say? Stuff like this interests me. So, like I said, I like Kickstarter. But I also think that to do Kickstarter correctly, you already have to have a fan base you built. And I think if you do it right, if you spend the months, weeks, even years, building that fan base up outside on a Patreon or somewhere else, transferring it over to Kickstarter is a little bit easier. So, what can I say? Which one's better? I don't know. I think they can work well together. I think you can work both of them. And, if you do a project, I say start very reasonable. I'm trying to do one now for our Amazing Universe. That's our superhero line. I want to do a super prison. I have an idea for a super prison. I'm thinking I want to do it as a Kickstarter. I'm breaking down the goals. I'm saying what works. I'm saying what's going to cost us. But honestly, I might develop it before we even do the Kickstarter. Develop it all out, have it ready, and then just go, let's do a Kickstarter. Let's make it quick. Let's put the stuff together. Boom. Let's market it, and let's go. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's that simple. Maybe that's a cool idea. Do all the stuff you think you do as add-ons. Just do them now. And just keep going with it. And see what people say. Either way, you have a great product you can put out, people can have, or you can have a great product with a lot of stuff ready to go as a Kickstarter that people like, and if it gets super popular, well, it gets super popular. What a problem to have that it's going so well that people like it. What can I say? Alright, well, thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Do us a huge favor, as always. If you comment below, please comment below, positive or negative. I like it all. That's how I am. And if you don't mind and you like what you see and you've liked our videos, subscribe. What's the worst that can happen? You can have an enjoyable YouTube channel you like to watch. As always, thank you so much for your support, and I will talk to you all later. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. If you could do us a super huge favor and click on that like button for this video, or even better, subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. As always, thanks for your support.